No, you're good. I can edit it all anyway. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today joining us on the World Class Coaching Podcast, we have a fine gentleman who has over 20 years of high school coaching experience. He was the St. Rose High School boys varsity assistant coach from 2002 to 2008, and then took over the girls program at St. Rose from 2019 to 2017. He is a coach and now a director for New Jersey and Eastern Pennsylvania camps for Coerver Coaching, and is currently, since 2018, the head Freehold Borough High School varsity head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Parshelunis. How are we doing today, Parsh?
Very good, thank you.
So, obviously, big thing to talk about, get a little bit into start was our positive scrimmage with Lacey today. What were some things that you were looking for, some of your key indicators, and, what would you take away from today's scrimmage against Lacey?
I think today was a really good day for us. Lacey's perennially a solid squad, and today was no different. They were fast, they were physical. It's all stuff that you really that we wanted to put on our barometer and just see where we stack up. We did a great job as we talked. I mean, during the match and then post match, great job of just keeping composed and staying the course and just focusing on the next play and not getting caught up in all the riffraff. So it's a really encouraging start. Um, it was nice at the end, like we said, going to the bus. It was nice at the end of the game not to have the huddle for 15 to 20 minutes after the game, because there wasn't much to talk about. Everything was left on the field, and it was exciting, and it's a nice little it's a motivator. It's something tangible after the week we had last week at preseason that the boys can kind of hang their hats on, because it was a really quality day for them.
Mhm. Great. Yeah, we're going to get into some of the changes that we made with our preseason approach a little bit. What were some of the main goals that you had today as far as, what were you looking for? Play time, what were you thinking as far as, were we going to go heavy with the top guys, get a little bit of rotation? Like, what was kind of your mindset going into the day?
We haven't done too much, as you know, we haven't done too much technical and tactical stuff specifically since we opened up last a week ago already. So really, it was kind of just seeing where we stood with that, where we stood with little defensive 1v1 work, where we stood with moving the ball, who's still taking one too many touches in a game that's a lot faster than it was either on the club level or JV level. So it was really just an assessment of that and where we stood technically and tactically. But we treated it like a midseason match. The top guys played. It's important not really for game shape, but really for chemistry on there. And it felt more than midway through. It felt like a midseason match. So it was just another way to assess where we're at.
Yeah, definitely would say intensity wise, and even like I was saying to the boys after the game, it was that was entertaining just to be a part of.
Yeah.
Um, So now, how is your approach going to change? Is it going to change, or what are we going to be looking through for the rest of the week? Because we talked last week about the daunting, literal preseason that we have. You get a week, and then you get right into scrimmages, and you start playing games, and then we have Trenton High School Wednesday, Allentown Friday, Heightstown Saturday. Like, how are you approaching the rest of the week at this point?
It's really just kind of gearing up and looking at the more tactical side of things. We had such a nice day technically, I thought, that it's just kind of fine tuning. There's still a lot of work to do, but I think we're ahead of um, a little bit ahead of where we thought we would be. So it's kind of nice to have it. We loaded up on scrimmages with the 4 scrimmages this week, and that's really good for A, game shape, and then B, to tackle the things with the full sided 11 to kind of go forward with. It's tricky. I was when I was listening to your guys' first episode, which was awesome, and I was furious that it wasn't longer. I told you that, Fed. It was like the last episode of Sopranos where I'm slamming the phone like, no, there's got to be more. It's like, but it was nice, Matt, listening to you and how you approached your preseason, and how it's more of it's a lot more emotional, like you hit on with the bonding aspects and things like that. We chose to do that through a heck of a lot of hard work, but that brings them together. They're all enduring it together, and that was one of the things we tried to preach. So I think the quote "Hell Week" is did its job. It's good to go, and we can really start to fine tune.
Yeah, I had some questions. Like in preseason, I feel like I'm always tweaking things. I kind of said that in the episode. Like I've never been really, I guess you never really should be, but I'm always kind of trying to tweak it a little better. I'm never truly happy with it. And I feel with the
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey with the high school soccer season, we get like that week, and then you start your scrimmages, and then the season starts, and it's like there's really. I felt like high school preseason felt so long, and now it feels like we're just in it. And then
Yeah.
with the scrimmages, I feel like we've got 2 scrimmages, and I feel like that's. I was like 4 is a lot. Is 3 the right number? Like 2, like I really can't. I'm having trouble kind of going back and forth and managing that. Like how many should we be looking for? And you went with 4, and I want to kind of hear your idea behind that, and the reason why you scheduled that.
The it's funny being a coach and doing the stuff that I do on the side with the coach with the camps and the clinics and things like that. It's like it's a constant state of professional development. So there's no right answer, and that's part of the fun of it. We loaded up on scrimmages. I think the first thing that's important is that you can't simulate game shape. You can run all the sprints and all the suicides, and the one thing you can't simulate is that intensity and what it takes from you physically in a game. So we loaded up on 4 because we knew that was the max, and we only had a week to play with. There's always the chance of getting a rain out and losing one. So 1 or 2. So that always plays into it also. But this week is great with the way the temperatures have been and everything. It's great, and to have what would be the most intense week of the season, a four game week, is really good prep, and it's kind of like we shocked their bodies last week physically. We shocked their bodies, and it's kind of a continuation, but in a different capacity with the scrimmages this week. So it doesn't look like we're going to lose any because of weather. But I thought
No,
it
we
was a
kind of got right
win-win.
in that middle of these 2 hurricanes that are coming. We
It's been
squeeze them in.
the weather has been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been perfect. I mean that we guys we played at the tournament last weekend. It was gorgeous compared to what it's
Yeah.
been in the past couple of years. So yeah, with the 4 scrimmages, with 2, I feel like it's kind of what we're missing right now. Is after our first one, I thought we had a great week, and we came in and we met. You guys play in the Shore Conference in New Jersey. Really aggressive. Great league. But known for the pace and things like that. And we kind of didn't. We thought we looked good against each other, and then we kind of went out there today. Didn't. You know, we didn't really have that the ability to match their speed. But now you got
Mm-hmm.
4 scrimmages. I feel like we're not getting there. How much are you managing like time for players? How much are you managing those days in between? And making sure they're peaking right at the right times, but you're not burning them out and things like that with those scrimmages.
Yeah, it's a super fine line. It is. I mean, you hit it burnout. I think I don't know how accurate it is, but there was a stat like the American kids play soccer. It's as the highest percentage in the world, and as they get more into that number dwindles down. And I always thought it was just burnout. Did you see that? So that is such a fine line for us in the short amount of time that we have these guys, which is only a couple months essentially. That burnout was a big thing. If we get more days like today, that burnout won't be as bad. So that was always,
You win them all.
winning cures all.
Play a game every day.
It was only a scrimmage. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but it was a really good day for us. But that that's helpful too. But the off days are definitely slowed down a little bit. There's still kids. And a lot of them are still growing too, which is really, really important. We got to keep in the back of our heads. But for example, tomorrow we're just going. The game tape came through, and we saw how goals were scored, and just little things of not necessarily the walkthroughs, but walkthroughs with a little pace. We'll go over some set pieces and some corners in a little bit of time. But it has to. I agree with what you said. You have to take into account that burnout factor. They need to want to be there first. And just constant, pounding and physicality and just being beat up is a huge turnoff. Nobody wants that. So it's always, I don't even want to say in the back of our heads, it's always in the forefront of just, what are we looking to accomplish and how can we do that in the most practical way?
So now, Parsh, you're kind of talking, about how our preseason changed from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've been coaching the high school level for over 20 years. How has your approach to the preseason changed this season throughout our conversations? What did you do differently from what you've done in the past? And what was your evidence from today's scrimmage about what worked well, reflecting on it now, and what we might do different next time?
I think the biggest thing that changed is I finally listened to my coaching staff and finally stopped being so freaking arrogant, and taking 2 steps back and realizing that we would have, um, you know, we would have things that we'd want to be better. I don't want to say the word complaints, but looking forward, we're not this, we're not this, we're not this. And, we would come in, and this was all on my shoulders. We would come in and just go straight into technical work and tactical work right in that week. So finally, like I said, I finally listened to you, got you and Haji, which he likes to be called, and Scott, and just listen that they need that kind of shock value. And, I think the intensity, like you said, speaks for itself from today. But it was nice just in speaking with some of them, because we have ongoing dialogues with right now with just with captains and potential captains, and I think Hodges actually hit it. He said some of them welcome this, like it was finally there. This was what was missing, so it kind of lit a fire, and it took care of some of those intangible things that were missing.
And yeah, definitely the kids were like, wow, we've worked so hard this week. But again, I think, you saw today is, hey, here's your evidence of how it worked. We were even saying getting to halftime, it was almost like, wow, we're
Yeah,
winning at halftime, and
it
we
was
have like a
one of
lot of positives to take away at the moment,
we would have
compared
taken a
to the past.
75-minute half. Yeah.
Um, Now, you've been doing this for a while, right? You've been at St. Rose, you've been, different camps and everything. How would you say high school coaching and coaching high school kids has changed from when you first started till now?
I mean, looking back, I mean, early 2000s, it was starting to turn the quarter 2000s. The difference is now there's so many more actual soccer players. In the early on when I was in 2002 just starting, you had your guys that played maybe with their local town team or club team in the fall and the spring, and that was it. And then it slowly started to change to maybe they joined a winter league with them. So now you're playing 3 seasons at least. When we have now year round. Year-round soccer players and guys that are playing year-round. And that was another thing too, Matt. That I knew because I knew you're going to talk about that. And Matt, I wanted to get your opinion too on the 6 practices, the NJSIA 6 practices, because I think that was the big changes. Now you have year-round soccer athletes, and the whole objective of that 6 practices is to get them acclimatized and acclimated, or whatever the word is, to playing and in temperatures and things like that. Um, I found it just with that big. And that's the big change, Fed, is that players are playing all the time now, as opposed to just certain seasons. So I feel like that rule is a little archaic with the athletes that we have now. So I was curious what you guys thought.
Yes. So like I kind of have thoughts about the season with the 6 practices. Like I get that you have all these players that are playing all the time, but in New Egypt we had guys that were pulling out of like left field. They're like, "Hey, you ever played soccer? You like soccer? No, you play for us." So there's definitely some guy, and some of them have some big careers. We really got a lot out of those guys, but but I think we have to be more cognizant of like that these players are most of these guys that are playing at the high level are like they're playing year round. They're getting touches all the time. Um, and I think I'd like to see like a longer preseason,
Mm-hmm.
extending that more and then cutting the games down to maybe like 15, 14, something like that. I think we played a lot of games.
A
Um,
lot of games, yeah.
a lot of games, but it's I always kind of go back and forth. I'm like, maybe I'll play less games this year, but then you're like, all right, when it comes down to PowerPoints or God forbid
Mm-hmm.
someone's gonna set a record and we play less games, that could be a fun email. So like you're kind of it's kind of you're doing what everyone's else is doing, but I just never really feel like I get enough time to teach. And I think that's
No.
where we get a lot of the complaints about high school soccer versus club soccer. Is club soccer you're taking them over years, you're developing in a certain way. And I feel like we just blinked and we're already eyeing up playing you guys for the opener.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of my big take with it. Is I think it's just too many games. Again, they're playing games all year round.
Constantly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that the 6 kind of deal is I could see where they're coming from, but yeah, if we could spread out. I mean, I think you solved the problem by adding another week or two into the preseason, so you can spread those scrimmages out a little bit more.
Right.
and spend that time teaching. But no, I
Yeah.
hear where you're coming from. It's just it feels we're kind of doing things. I mean, cut the games from 20 to 18 was kind of step in the right direction. I felt. Um, yeah, it's just kind of evolving. It's not like you said the same as it was in the past, where they played three different sports, and then this was a new thing, and they had to come back out of it. So
Yeah, yeah, you'd have, back when I mean, I don't want to say when I first started. I make it sound, just like late '60s, early '70s. I came on, but yeah, it's total. I think it's more. But Fed, we were even saying that today. We essentially coaching high school soccer is the same as a national team, in the sense that you're getting these guys from all their different clubs and you're gathering them together for essentially 2 months, hopefully three if things work out well, and you're just kind of piecing things together. And that's why we tell our guys coming in, you got to take care of this. Like you guys said in the first episode, you got to take care of stuff you can take care of. We're not here to make your touch better. We don't have that kind of time. The clock's already started ticking on the 18th, and it doesn't stop for anybody.
And I love you said that too. And I love that you said that today as we were leaving Lacey, because the amount of times that when Matt and I were together in New Egypt that we would have that same conversation with our athletes is this is your national team. 10
Yeah,
months to go off, you're with your club, you're doing whatever. You get 2 months to play with everybody who you grew up with, kids you've played with your whole life. You're playing for your town, playing for your families and everything.
yeah,
This is your national team. Like, this is literally your World Cup.
yeah, yeah. It is. It's funny when you take a couple steps back and look at it. But nonetheless, still a blast.
So now here's my next question for you,
Okay.
because you're at St. Rose for so long. Obviously, you're a St. Rose alumni too. You played there in high school. What
Yes.
was the biggest adjustment going from coaching at a private school to a public school?
and my follow up
Um.
is, which is the best pizza in Belmar?
Of best piece in Valorant, Vix, easily.
There
Vix
we
is
go.
best
Okay,
piece in
good. Just
100%. Um. That was now I'm all sidetracked. What was the first part? No, so the biggest difference from public to coming from St. Rose, the biggest adjustment for me was having a football team. There's no football at St. Rose. There hasn't been football since like the 1930s. So just the amount of the time and the huge undertaking that a football program is, and we're not even associated with it. We just see it, the stress on the SECA and everything like that. But it brings the football team and the football games and everything on Friday nights. That it brings a huge. It was a huge part of things that weren't missing, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's an element of the whole experience was super big. But I think also coming out from the non-public into public is your work in the state tournament. We would battle because St. Rose was a tiny school, and our state tournament bracket there was times where it was 8 teams, and we had to bye right to the semis. So it was just the grind of sectionals and things like that. That the state tournament setup was a huge difference. The amount of games that a public school has to go through just to make a sectional final was pale in comparison to the non-public there. I think that was the big thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you were
For anyone,
non-public
sorry,
B,
Fed.
right?
Just for people not listening, in New Jersey, it's you play in public. It's you have 4 matches to get to the sectional finals, and then 2 to go to the state finals. For just
Right.
anyone that isn't familiar with that.
Yeah, and
All
it's
right, Fed.
much more condensed on the non-public side. Yeah, and we were non-public B. Sean. Yeah.
Now, you made a final? You won a final, right?
With the girls they were a loaded program when I stepped in. I mean, a big orange cone could have come in and coached that team. They were just talent right there. But yeah, we in that time I think we had 4 sectionals and we had the one state title, the only state title in program's history. Yeah.
Now, what is the biggest adjustment you had to make going from coaching girls to boys?
The first one was the emotional part. So you can get guys all fired up, and you can play. I'm going to date myself again, but you play Thunderstruck, and you'd be ready to come out and just start going 100 miles an hour. And girls just have their own way of doing it. They're no less intense. They're no less physical. They're no less athletic. But just that rah emotional was a big difference too. And the girls were sponges. I adored my time with the girls. I was just so lucky to have the chance. But I can remember one of our first practices where we went over overlaps, we just like you just want that player, your outside mid, just to maybe overlap, a winger, or your back outside of forward. So we went over it once, and then the next play in the 7v7, all over the field, there's 13 overlaps going on simultaneously because everybody just starts to overlap. They weren't near the ball, and they were just overlapping. So the girls just absorbed that stuff and immediately put it into play, where the guys, you kind of have to. I've found you've got to go through reps and you got to go through things, to technically make it there. But
I always
AKA,
say the girls
please head
believe
the
you.
ball.
please head the ball. Please head the ball. Yes.
The girls believe you. The guys got to like prove it to them. Like, no, the overlaps are good.
Spot on. I don't we still, myself and the Rob Sopko, who I coached with, who's a phenomenal coach. We would hop in all the time with the girls. They were just as good. They were just as fast, just as technical. It was great. But in order to be listened to, you're absolutely right. We actually have to, I had to put the cleats on and kind of actually step in to show a little bit of credibility. It wasn't good credibility at all. They absolutely destroyed me. They continue to destroy me. It's terrible. But you're right. You almost have to prove yourself before they buy in. And the girls, I don't know if I was just gifted with an amazing group of girls, but they bought in immediately.
Matt, that was West Tech when you and I were thinking of our pregame chat the year that we went to the Central One final, and we were getting ready to play West Tech, and we walked into the locker room thinking like, all right, we kind of had like a rough stretch. We were like 2-2-2, had a couple bad ties, and we walked into the entire locker room punching the lockers, listening to Thunderstruck, and Matt and I, we just
Oh,
walked out and won 8-2.
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, I guess they got it from here.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna bring up the time that they made you be the linesman.
Oh my, yeah, that was right after we beat RBC.
Hold on. This is another critique I have from episode 1. It's got to be so difficult for you two guys. And Fed, I said this to you because you guys know all each other and you have all these inside things. For days, I was wondering what the hell is the great state of Michigan. For days, I'm wondering. I'm like, I got to get in on this. I need this. So it's very enticing. But that's funny with the Thunderstruck coming in.
Then he saw that on Wednesday.
And then I saw it in
Parsh
person.
found out what the great state of Michigan was on Wednesday. They did it twice.
Oh, nice.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. I do.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a good team builder. I think we're gonna run it this week, so I don't want to reveal too much. We'll definitely make an article about it in the future. But my boys are gonna find out about the great state of Michigan.
Outstanding, and they'll thank you, I'm sure.
They love it. They'll love it. So, yeah, it definitely is tough. We had some really great times. I think Fed is kind of the not the tooth one. I actually don't want to tooth one because he was so mean during football season, being an Eagles fan. But great assistant, good times. Just kind of goes the extra mile and really cares about the kids. So we had a really good time.
Ask Parsh what chair I've been coaching in.
What's up?
Ask Parsh what chair I've been coaching in.
Oh, the sunflower chair.
Sunflower chair.
Like a sunflower, you have to water it every single day and hope that it grows. Nick Sirianni's speech when he first became the Eagles coach.
I hate that.
You got to water it every single
day. I can't tell you
day.
how much I don't like that.
And believe it or not, Matt, that was the better of the options because it was an actual Eagles chair. I'm like, it's not even the right sport, man. Like you can't be on the sideline with that. So
brutal. So I go and compliment you. I say something nice about you finally, and then this is what I get. This is what I have to hear about you're doing.
Always.
Yeah, you did it to yourself, man.
Why are you sitting down coaching?
Now, Parsh, what are you looking forward to going forward for the rest of the season? What are your expectations? We had a strong start today, got a couple scrimmages, then we open up with Burlington. We go West Windsor South, and then we get into the Shore. What are kind of your expectations now going forward for the rest of the season?
Oh boy, I mean, it's tricky because it is so early. It feels like the like mid-year, like we've said already, but I think just not taking 2 steps back. If we can, every coach says we want to get better every day. We want to get better every day, and just some days it's just not in the cards. No matter what you do, it's just not in the cards. So as long as we don't take 2 steps back, we've done that, and we've dug some holes for ourselves in the past that were almost insurmountable. And then before we knew it, especially last season, we have to go on some sort of crazy win streak by our standards just to qualify to be a 16. So I think just realizing potential. We knew when we left last year how much talent was returning, and what kind of young men we were getting next year. So it's absolutely just realizing that potential. And like we said, we've been saying the last couple of days of practice, just leave the practice field, leave the game field with something that you're proud of. Just walk away feeling like, we gave everything today, and then let the chips fall as they may.
Now, before we get into your drill share, the biggest thing I've taken away from you as an assistant is controlling as much as you can. Explain your philosophy behind that and the whole, we're going to control and we're going to take control of as much as we can. Like, what's your philosophy behind that whole concept?
Yeah, I mean, it's our game is such a great game because it's free flowing. There's no timeouts, very few actual stoppages where you're idle. So there's when you have a situation like that, so many moving parts, there's naturally things become uncontrollable. So it's just the things that you can control, and it's simple things of just staying focused, like today, not retaliating, not getting caught up. Let your bonehead coach talk to the referee and make the mistakes like that. You focus on the next play, and something as simple as stay hydrated. Just show up hydrated. And just little tiny things, because you're right. I mean, and it's not bad officials either. They're out there. Everybody's out there. They're doing their best. The officials don't care who wins or loses. And they don't show up saying, "Man, I can't wait to sabotage this game for a team." They don't show up that way. But mistakes are going to happen, and it's just how it's one of the bigger lessons of it. It's not goals and assists and things and wins and banners. It's how can I apply this to everyday life? Because very few of these guys are going to be going professional. And it's like everything else in life. And whatever you can control, and then chances are you'll be a little more prepared for something that you can't control because you've taken care of all the things in place.
Love it. Yeah, we have a very, very similar ideology like that. It just there's so much chaos, and you gotta only take control of what you can control, because like ball bounces the wrong way and it goes right in the net and you don't even know. So last three
and
follow-up
all it takes is
questions.
one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. It takes one of those plays. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last three follow-ups. What formation you plan on running for the rest of the season? Who's your best three players and what foot do they use?
I got a kid at the top named Sean Fedema. He runs a wicked 7.940. Vertical jump of about
Body by Taco Bell.
Vertical jump of about 6 to 7 inches.
Oh,
So he's I've already
absolute danger,
nominated him
man.
first team
He's looking
offshore.
for
I've already
ESOC money.
put a plug in. Yeah.
Honorable mention. Let's be modest.
We talked about that too. I love that question. Like, what's our formation? What's our formation? What's our formation?
Yeah.
It's funny saying going in, this is what we're going to play. You don't know what coaches don't know what you have yet, and to force something. I think it's another big thing too. Fed, getting back to the point of something I'm kind of learning. Stop being so damn rigid. Like, just we're in such a limited amount of time. Like we said, I can't. Why am I going to force a 3-5-1? When I don't have the horses to do it. So it's kind of it's got to be it's got to be fluid, and that's like us on the staff too. We got to control as much as we can control and know who can go here and what can happen XYZ. But yeah, just watch out for that Fed up top. He'll get you.
Your dog's going faster.
I do have a handful of men's league goals and assists. And Ewing 7v7 league.
Yeah.
Ewing 7v7 league. Couple final appearances.
Yep.
No
All
film.
tournament team, right?
Don't believe you.
Well, goalie days were ended by the fate of a soccer ball square to the face in a futsal league. And it's been downhill from there.
Do as I say, not as I do. Oh my god.
Exactly.
Well, that's
What did I say to you during my interview with you and Josh? The jockey was never a horse.
The jockey was never a horse. What a great line. That was such a great line. Yeah. Probably secured you the job.
Rodrigo Saki.
Yeah, totally stole that from Carol and Inverting the Pyramid. Just highlighted that. Like,
that's great. That's a winner, man. Get that on a shirt.
That is the question you are going to answer for the rest of your coaching career when people ask you, what was your playing experience? Let me tell you. So, Parsh, what is your drill share? What do you got to share with us for today?
Yeah, I think, Matt, I think it kind of piggybacks on yours. So we call it 3-box. I'm going to absolutely butcher the description because it's one of those things. It's such a go-to. It's kind of, we kind of just set it up and go. But There's 3 boxes. The 2 boxes on the outside, the whole exercise is shaped as a rectangle. The 2 boxes on the outside can vary in size from 7 by 7 to 10 by 10. Your box in the middle is about half of that. So essentially it's 2 squares, 2 squares in a rectangle. You have 3 teams, 1 in each box. The team in the center box is your defensive team, and the coaches on the outside, they'll launch a ball into one of the outside boxes, and then it becomes a 4v2, 5v2, whatever you have. You put some sort of X amount of passes of that box, and the object of the game is to get those passes in your box and then send it to the other box. The way you earn points is by knocking those passes and then a successful reception by the other team there. That central team, if that ball gets switched, remains in the middle. Once they either get possession or the ball goes out of one of those outside boxes, they take over that box, and then the team that lost it becomes a defensive team in the middle. So it's that was really just, I understand. I don't even know what I blacked out. I don't even know what came out of my mouth there, but it's a lot easier to know. But it's great for pace of play. It's great for playing the way you're facing. It's great for decision making too, because it's such tight space and it's such a fast moving game. And it's great for a pregame warm up. It's great for we're gonna go on it tomorrow because it's not terribly physical, but the pace of it is really helpful, super helpful.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I'm saying things, I'm like, I hope this makes sense. I'm like, I don't know. I have the picture in my head. I've seen it 100 times. No, but yeah, that was great. I love that. It's very similar to Cinco, but like again, like more that concept of like, all right, let's play that tight spaces, 1-2s, and then but we can't just do that. Like I felt today we had a couple connections in our game where it's like these are beautiful passes. Where are we going with this? Like we're not breaking lines, we're not moving anything. Yeah, like let's go somewhere with it now.
And it's funny, that was the thing. And I feel like when I do it, is something new always pops out, and that was it. What's the whole point of playing short passes? Well, we as coaches know we want to suck the defense in so we can then switch the field and use the open space that we've created. But it really gives it's a nice contextual kind of exercise for that. It's one of those things that goes so fast when it's done properly that it's they don't even know they're learning, and they don't even know they're practicing something tactical. They think it's just this passing game, which is really great because I feel like even in the classroom, kids learn best when they don't even know they're learning. So it's one of those. It's really, really practical. But it's funny you say that, Matt, because that's definitely the one. The short. Why are we doing this? What is the objective here? And that was the new thing that I learned from them. It wasn't even from me. I'd love to take credit for it, but I can't. It's what they watching them do it. It's what I picked up also from that.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely. We got a recovery session tomorrow. I might give it a whirl. You did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm not great at that, but I did. I was like connecting the dots. I'm like, all right, rectangle square.
Yeah,
easy, I got that.
I'll text you a picture of it. It'll do a still photo will do much better than anything that just came out of my mouth. Yeah,
That's why we add the video content eventually.
Yeah. I'll be on it. Yeah, I'll get it on there. We'll get you in it, Fed. We'll get you in it. You'll run a 5v1 and you'll be the one, and it'll be Christmas.
You gotta play the attack and the defense, Fed. You gotta be.
You're playing. You are actually part of all 3. Yeah, you're a part of all 3 teams.
The Monty Python skit.
5v5v5 plus 1
plus Fed.
Yeah, plus make it 5v5v5v1.
Just in a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Just run.
Just go, man. Just go, man.
Well, Parsh, it's been an absolute blast. I'm really, really excited for this year. I think we've got a lot of great things going. The pieces are really coming together. Today was a great start, and like you said, I saw a quote that I shared on our socials was that I think perfectly sums up today and going forward is it's not a one-way journey. It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great.
Start over, go again. You're only as good as that day that you show up. So I think that'll be something great to take going forward. Really, really looking forward to the rest of this week. Get to see some old CVC opponents in Trenton, Allentown, and Heightstown for scrimmages.
It's nice. I know Matt, you dipped into playing short conference teams, and we did that in the regular season. Obviously, seeing you guys, it's just nice to shift it up because then kind of takes away a little bit of the shock value of the state tournament, and it's just nice to see different styles.
You get too comfortable playing. We only have 4 teams in our division, and it's like, all right, we played them again and again and again. It's like you're kind of, it's different. It's a different mentality than someone you don't know. So we always try to
Yeah.
travel as much as possible, which our boys didn't love the hour and a half drive this morning. But
Yeah, but that's part of it. Part of it.
you go to stage, you're gonna have to do it. So
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's okay to have off days as well too. So if you next week
Everything in any little way, it could all be beneficial. Yeah, it all benefits somehow, some way.
The third, if you want to give them a little rest that day, you don't have to play everybody. It's fine.
We'll think about it. Like I said.
Well, we can't wait to see it. It's gonna be awesome. Just even Fed spoke so highly of you, talking to you at these tournaments. I'd love to love picking your brain and hearing some of your thoughts on the game, and definitely good. I'm definitely gonna try that drill tomorrow and see what it looks like. So send me the text so I can put it together.
I'd love to see what I said. Yeah. So if you could video that, I'd love to see it come out, because it's just, I'm like, wow, this is gonna be something. I didn't even think of doing this. This is amazing.
Or the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be anything applicable, anything at all. But no, I hope this thing takes off. This podcast takes off. I love it, and so I know it's only been one, but it was just, I was locked into it. Just hearing how, and in fact, I told you this too, Matt. Just hearing how stuff works on your end, and I think just other coaches knowing that, listen, we're all going through the same thing, the same challenges, whether it's on the field, off the field. So this is such a great idea, and really, it's an honor to be a part of it. But I really hope it takes off for you guys, because it could really be helpful to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, we're really hoping. I mean, who loves talking about what they do more than coaches? So
yeah, that's very,
exactly.
very true.
Right? Not yet. Never short of stuff to talk about, ever.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife's like, yeah, great. You're doing great, honey.
Same.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, sure. Look, hey, let me explain this drill to you. Yeah.
God, it floats.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Babe.
Yeah.
I'm like,
never
babe, we scored via this way and this way today. Cool.
Cool. Exact. I get that. Yeah. It's either cool or so. So, like no, that was it. That was it. Oh, okay. And then we move on.
She's like, does this sport ever end? I'm like, nah.
No. That's what's great about it. Yeah, that's great. Now it's all on TV again, which is fantastic. So it's a, what is it? Goes right back to your quote, Fed. What was it? Say,
not a one-way journey. It's a never-ending cycle.
There you go. Right there.
So proud of you for quoting something that's not Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, I've grown. I've grown. Try to think of the quote. I've grown in my exile, or something like that.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
Parsh, see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
100%. Can't wait.
And then Matt, I'll see you around, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the World Class Coaching Podcast. Hope to hear from you guys again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. See you.